No thanks, Guy. Well, as we saw, whether on 2 wheels, 4 wheels, or 2 legs, the maniacs really enjoyed doing it in the mud. We've also seen there are lots of folks who enjoy doing it in the dirt, like these professional truck pullers we met at the Iowa State Fair.
Welcome to the NTPA Grand Nationals. It's called the heaviest show on wheels. It's been going on at County Fair since the 1920s. In those days, the competition was quite different. A competitor would drive his vehicle past rows of people who would climb on to try and weigh him down. Of course, today, NTPA pulling uses a sophisticated weight transfer sled to make sure everyone pulls the same weight. There's a lot more to pulling than just getting into the truck and hooking up to the weight sled. Jim Brockman of New Haven, Indiana, is competing in the 2-wheel drive division in his 1908 Chevy C-Cab. Jim was inspired to campaign a C-Cab when he saw a picture of one on the cover of the brochure for our old friend Lloyd Van Horn's Antique Truck Museum. He has a Tim Ingber-built chassis along with Bob Potter-built sheet metal around the frame, a 640 cubic inch RES injected and blown engine, Brooks rods, and a Kipley 5-speed transmission.
This combination has been working very well for us. It's been a Grand National champion in the past years. It's hanging in there in the top 6 in this particular points race. We're pretty happy with it. Then we also, this last year, built a modified tractor, and we want to be the first guy, the first team in the history of tractor pulling to have a national championship in 3 different classes.
Jim's team won 2-wheel drive puller of the year and the 2-wheel drive Grand National Points Championship in 1986. He's been pulling for 12 years, and he knows about power. The key to truck pulling is getting all the power you generate down to the ground where your tires can get a good bite in the dirt. And it looks like Jim did just that. He's got power to spare, but he's run out of room. Nice pull. Now here's a team for whom pulling is a real family affair. Showdown is owned by Mike and Scott Johnson of Perry, Oklahoma. They're brothers. They've been pulling for 14 years. Their 88 Chevy 4-wheel drive Showdown has an extended cab, flip-top body over a chrome moly chassis. Mike's wife, Dixie, is also a member of the team. She travels all over the country with them and their 3-year-old daughter, Mariah, driving the support vehicle, starting Showdown, doing the prep work, and videotaping the runs. Mike and Scott do all their own day-to-day maintenance. Mike drives, Scott is the engine man.
There's a real burst of power there coming off the line. It's, you know, we don't accelerate down the track like a dragster, but we've got the power there that they have. We're just putting it to the ground and dragging the 50,000-pound sled down, and so it really feels awesome to hook onto that much horsepower and really do something with it.
It takes a lot of work to prepare a truck for pulling, and Ed Wandler has recruited every available hand. In his case, that means his 2 children and his wife, Wendy, who travel with him all summer long.
We do a lot of traveling, and being able to take the kids along and do it as a family makes it a lot of fun.
The Wandlers have been pulling for 10 years. Their 1990 Chevy has a janky 650 cubic inch engine and a handmade chassis. Keeping this truck in top pulling condition requires having all the necessary tools available, and Ed's rig is one of the finest on the circuit. After a long day of pre-race preparation, all the hard work is now sitting on the line, waiting for the green flag. And it looks like it's paying off for the Wanderers. So the competition is really going to be tough here in Iowa. As you've seen, pulling can be a real family sport. And another family team that's competing today is the Holman Brothers team. Paul drives their 1960 Chevy 4-wheel drive 4-plate. The original 1960 Chevy body sits on the original frame, including the stock front suspension. Obviously, it's a combination that works for them, because they are the reigning NTPA class champions and are currently #1 in points.
Truck pulling action is always tough, whether it's among professional NTPA pullers or just local enthusiasts. Like the wonderful homegrown truck pullers I met out in the far reaches of the USA, in our beautiful garden state, Hawaii. The people of Hawaii love their tropical paradise, and they also love their truck pulls. I found out when I visited the 6th annual Super Pull in Honolulu.
This extravaganza features the best 4x4s, two-wheel drives, and super modified pulling trucks Hawaii has to offer. They'll be competing against some of the best trucks from the mainland, plus some amazing exhibition vehicles.
Here's one of the competitors, Heavy Metal. Heavy Metal. It was created 4 years ago as a club project with Honolulu Community College, the Heavy Equipment Diesel Vocational School. It's the only diesel-powered truck at this event. Instructor Barney Metz calls this a chop suey vehicle because it's got a little bit of everything.
We've taken a Caterpillar 32.8 engine. It was turbocharged to begin with. We've gone in and had the students readjust the rack for the fuel control, and that's about all we've done to modify it, the engine. And then on the transmission, we've had, in conjunction with the Allison people down here, we've gone in and redone the valve body on the transmission so that it would be a power shift transmission. So it would shift when on demand. Had some of the welding shop, the students from the welding shop come down, weld up our frame. We tried to involve everybody on campus. Even our tonneau cover was made by the Fashion Arts Department.
It took Barney students only 6 weeks to build Heavy Metal. The truck is used as an incentive for them to maintain good grades and keep a good attitude. Of course, they like the competition, too.
Well, it's just an exhibition. It's just a club, so everybody comes together to help. Just like Hawaiian Aloha, you know the spirit. And we just do our best, see what happens.
I'd give those students an A+. For many Hawaiian truck pullers, like their mainland counterparts, pulling is a family affair. A.C. Ferreira bought this 1980 GMC pickup as a gift for his wife, Sandra. They both really love their trucks.
Well, my husband is involved in monster car crushing, and he does mud bog, and I wanted to get involved too. So I told him I wanted to be a puller. So he was going to build me a truck, but then this one came down with John Shipman, and it was for sale, so we bought it.
There goes Sandra now, and she looks right at home behind the wheel of sheer energy. Here's another lady puller, Cheryl Davis.
I got into it because I really like the event, and first I got into mud racing. That's what I used to do, was mud racing. And then mud racing is fun, but there's more power in the motor in pulling. It's exciting. Your blood pressure just goes sky high. It's something that if everybody could ever do, they should. It's just so great.
It looks like fun, Cheryl. Back on the mainland, we ran into another fun-loving group who had found a very unique place to strut their stuff, the Florida Swamp. You guessed it, it's the Florida Swamp Buggy races.
Here at the races, there are 8 classes that cover every size and shape of vehicle you can imagine. They have to navigate around this treacherous man-made swamp, which includes the dreaded Sippy Hole, a bottomless pit named after Sippy Morris, who could never quite get through it.
Sheriff Don Hunter officiated all the races and got the first heat at the starting line. It was a close start. Bill Fayette maneuvered his Jeep long shot into an early lead.
Back it down.
As they hit the final sippy hole, Pat Andrews, one of 2 female drivers in the Jeep class, came on strong and ud. But Phil's long shot paid off at the finish line, so we'll be seeing him in the finals. In the second heat, the action was just as wet and wild. It looks like number 30 on the far side, driven by Bob Worthington, is off to an early lead. Before the race, Bob showed us what's special about the Jeep he calls the Little 222.
Well, it's a 1952 Willys CJ3A. It's got the 4-cylinder American Jeep motor in it, which all of them in our class have to have. We have a military-type sealed distributor on it. It's just an ordinary Jeep with a few little tricks put on it. We've got our waterproofing down really well to where we don't get stalled. We've had plenty of occasions where we've broke things, you know. We worked real hard a couple of years ago to build up the motor to where the motor was really at its best. And then we had a problem with the drivetrain not being able to keep up. We never stalled out because of water. We'd either throw a drive shaft or brake transmission. And we finally got all that worked out, and we're doing real well now.
Bob is doing real well. He's still in the lead as they come around the far turn, and he's handling all that water without a problem. But always bumped from behind by Jim Stewart driving Sugar Bear. Coming down the front straight, Sugar Bear's in the lead. He's first to the sippy hole. And Jim Stewart holds on to the win.
Boy, it is wet out there. Every Swamp Jeep racer has his own reason for joining in.
Fun. Just having a good time with everybody, really.
It's different, a little bit crazy.
Doesn't like getting down and dirty.
They also have their own special techniques.
Well, it's basically trying to find the hard spots in the track. You got to take it out there and try it, find out basically where they are, and hope that they're still there tomorrow.
Just find what you can Saturday and stick with it.
I pretty much know when I go out there where I want to be on that track at any time.
No, they lie. They lie. All I do is keep it to the floor and go. He says if it blows, it blows. We'll get another one.
That's referring to her husband and the chief mechanic on her Jeep, who obviously is generous with his time when it comes to building swamp buggies. That's understandable, because compared to most race vehicles, these Jeeps are cheap to operate and easy to build. Besides sealing the engine, the most important thing is to remove the floor and any obstructions. You've got to let the water flow through so it doesn't slow you down. Not everyone's a seasoned veteran like Pat. For some competitors, this is a new experience, like the driver of Hog Wash, Ken Stone.
This is my first race, and I am excited about it, nervous about it, but I'm giving it my best shot. I tell you, I just want to go out there and be competitive and be a safe runner and finish.
Just finishing a swamp buggy race is an accomplishment for the rookies and the veterans too.